Sweet. Okay. So can everybody see my slides? Yes. Question mark. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I lost my Zoom. There we go. I'm gonna put this here. Woo. So we have some announcements for today. It's pretty quick and easy. Check-in reports are due just now. Do it right now if you haven't, or like as soon as possible. Maybe like right after lecture. Make sure you do it because we want to make sure that everybody is on top of their stuff, and we want to know where everybody is at. There's a couple of you who might be watching this asynchronously that I've talked to about making like specific assignments for you instead of a project due to like like virtual learning and all the issues with that. I will reach out this weekend about that and talk about it, and I'll send out an email to those of you who know who you are. I will get in contact with you. But for everybody else who's doing the project, who needs to do the project, make sure you get your check-in reports due right now, or like as soon as possible. They're supposed to be due just now. Final projects are going to be due on Monday, right before lecture. I don't know. I want to make sure that's entirely clear to everybody. They are due Monday next week before lecture starts. That's 5 p.m. Berkeley, or not Berkeley time, but 5 p.m. sharp before lecture starts, because we want to make sure everybody's ready to present starting Monday. I will call on groups randomly, so you should be prepared to present on Monday. But if you don't get selected on Monday, you will be going on Wednesday. I ask that everybody shows up to both if you can, out of respect for your classmates. We want this to feel as much as like a research presentation as possible. So I ask that out of respect for everybody, you come and you support them. I'm sure they would greatly appreciate having more people to listen to their research project. So that's the final project due dates. Yeah, and the presentations are the 26th and 28th of April next week. So keep putting that in your calendars. Be ready to present for Monday, but you might present on Wednesday. Just letting everybody know that. Check the B courses like assignment that I put out for final project. It outlines there's a document that you can click on, download, or not download, but like open it up in your browser, and it's like LaTeX that has like all the specifications of what I want in your final project file that you, or like submission. So make sure you check that, make sure it complies with everything. And then the same document is also under like final project resources and stuff like that in the files to have in B courses. So just let everybody know that. This is the last lecture. Ask for help if you need it. We are here for you. We want to help you. I've had several of you come to my office hours. I don't know about everybody else's office hours, but I think others have been receiving students coming into their office hours, which I'm happy to hear about. Make sure you get the help that you need. We're always here to help. And you could just email us too. We want to make sure you have good projects. So email us. We'd be happy to help you. And if one of us can't help you, we'll make sure like one of the 4 instructors or 5 instructors will help you. So reach out. There is no attendance form today. The attendance form is the final project, or not the attendance form is the course evaluations, which I'll put at the end of the slides. So just letting everybody know that that's what the attendance form will be, is the final course evaluations for us. So I just want to say congratulations to everybody. You finished the Python DeCal, and it's kind of infancy stage. You guys are version 2.0. We learned a lot from last semester, and hopefully we'll learn a lot from this semester. So I just wanted to say thank you for taking the course. We kind of like reinvented it from the ground up because it was kind of awful before I came, or before like Elon and myself and everybody who was helping me with it came to the project. So we just want to make sure that we say thank you for taking the class, and we recommend, like, if you know anybody who wants to take it, tell them how good it is or how awful it is. Hopefully it's not awful. Somebody asked in the chat, will instructors be available over email this weekend? We should be. Send multiple emails. Like if one of us doesn't respond within like 3 hours, send another one, because there's a chance we'll forget about it. So be persistent, but we should be available. And email multiple of us. I recommend, that way you have you're asking multiple people, and you'll for sure get an answer. And ask questions on the Discord too, because I'm sure there's people that are doing projects similar to your own that can probably help a little bit too, if that's the case. Cool. So yeah, again, congratulations and thank you for taking our course. I just want to recap what you've learned in like a little slide. So you've learned quite a few things. You learned all the Python basics. So that's data types, functions, recursions, conditional loops, or conditionals and loops, like while loops and for loops. You learned object-oriented programming and like everything that's basic Python. So that's amazing. You've already got that under your belt. How to use external libraries for STEM. So that's NumPy, SciPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, AstroPy, machine learning a little bit. Not quite fully in-depth machine learning, but you were exposed to it, and you have resources to learn if you're curious. You know how to make beautiful plots in Python with data and with your models and whatnot. So you learn how to do like file IO, that's opening files and closing files and writing to them with CSV files. We talked a lot about that. You know how to make subplots. One of your homework assignments was to make subplots with like 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional color plots, which was probably a pain in the butt for everybody because I made it that way. Because then now you have like kind of experience with everything plotting wise. You have the ultimate plotting guide. You have the animation guide, so you know how to animate. You know how to plot real data and model data. You know how to curve fit model to the real data, which is fantastic. And you know how to alter them, your plots, to make them look pretty. You know how to make or use simulations, right? We talked about numerical differentiation, integration, how to root find, and even how to curve fit. All that stuff is really useful. We talked about main loops. We did a couple lectures on simulations, and it was really interesting. And we saw how that's related to like writing a video game, for example, and we saw like animation, and that was really cool that you could use when you're writing a simulation. And then we covered a bit of professional development. So that was like intro to research. We had a whole lecture on that. We talked about how to make CVs, what makes a good curriculum vitae. We talked about personal and professional websites development. So hopefully everybody who made one finds it valuable. I encourage you, whatever you do, astronomy, physics, whatever, you post to your website so we can check it out. And if you haven't made one already, I really encourage you to do one, to make one, because it really does make a difference. And I think it makes you kind of stand out as a candidate no matter what you apply for. If you have a website that talks about everything you're doing and like presents yourself with like a picture and everything, because that's just like unheard of for so many applicants. So it's really valuable. But we talked about personal and professional websites. We showed you how to use LaTeX and Overleaf. We even kind of showed you GitHub, not truly like a real in-depth lesson on GitHub, but that's something you can pick up now that you've covered so much of Python and coding. I think you can pick up GitHub pretty quickly, and especially if you refer back to the slides that we talked about. So that's a ton of stuff you covered in a decal, all that's really, really useful for you. I hope you get to use it in whatever you want to do. And we gave you some knowledge. I hope everybody gets that meme. It was a really funny meme when I was in middle school. A 12-car garage with all these bookshelves of knowledge. Anyway, so you might be wondering what's next. What do I do from here? How do I keep going as an astro student or physics student or whatever it is you want to study? This is what I recommend. You have tons of opportunities now, like you have lots of access to opportunities that you didn't have before now that you know how to code. So first things first, I would recommend applying to research if you want to go to graduate school. Research is the name of the game. So send really thoughtful cold emails to professors. Try not to send really general ones, but just send like to 1 or 2 professors that you really find their work interesting. Put a lot of time into those emails and like make sure that they're very special, tailor-made to that person. So what that means is, every good email should not be general. So don't speak vaguely. You should read a research paper of the person you want to work with. Find interesting stuff or find things that you find interesting in their research and talk about that a little bit. Send an academic summary, that's AKA an unofficial transcript. You should also send your CV, and if you did a website, a link to your personal website so they can learn a lot more about you. Very useful. I also recommend that you go to symposiums and colloquiums. The astronomy department's really amazing. Mariska's always put together a really nice research symposium where all the a lot of open projects are advertised to undergraduates. I encourage you to go there. You'll probably stand out amongst other people now that you have so much Python under your belt. So I really encourage you doing that. And then going to research talks at colloquiums. There's like a colloquium every week on Thursday, I think, in the astronomy department. And then I think it's on Mondays in the physics department, but I can't quite remember. I encourage you to go to those and pick up, like, go talk to professors that you find really interesting. Yeah, awesome. So the next thing I might recommend after that is if you want to learn more coding skills, there's still a lot more to learn. You haven't learned everything, but you did learn the basics of like a lot of useful tools. So how do you take it a step further? Well, you can take Physics 77. It'll feel a lot more like the Python decal than anything else because I took so much from it and I modified it a bit and made it a little bit simpler. But if you want a rigorous physics applications course on Python, I recommend doing that. They talk a lot more about statistics, namely like how to curve fit and like in what's really going on there. And they talk a little bit more about like numerical differentiation, integration, and they talk a lot about like just applications. The homework problems are a lot more physicsy. So if you want to take like a good physics class that's coding as well, I would take Physics 77 or 88. You could also take Data 8 and Data 100. I think they're both fantastic courses. And shoot, while you're at it, you might as well just even get a minor. I don't think it's too big of a minor to add on if you were curious. If you find that you really like Data 8 and Data 100 and this is the kind of thing you enjoy doing, then shoot, maybe go for a data minor. That might be fun, or a major. I'm going to take this next semester because I'm excited for it. That's Physics 188. You kind of need like Python decal / Physics 77 background to take it, and maybe like I think like the 7 or 5 series. And this class is about Bayesian analysis and machine learning. That's like really cool stuff. Machine learning, we talked about that a little bit. So I'm hopefully going to learn how to use that a bit more in depth. And then Bayesian analysis is like kind of at the forefront of research right now. Everybody uses Bayesian statistics and Bayesian analysis. To be quite honest, I don't really know what it is, but I know it's really useful. So I'm going to take that class. And then there's the Astro 128 Data Lab. This is not offered this next school year coming up due to faculty restraints and like they're low on staff this next year. But the year after that, they'll have it. So as you progress through your major, I recommend taking Astro 128. I heard it's really, really good. So you can always do that. And then if you want like a rigorous computer science class, I highly recommend 61A. I think everybody should take it if you're inclined to coding at any degree. I think especially now that you've had so much Python experience, I think taking 61A, it won't be easy, but it will be very beneficial for you as a coder. It won't so much help you do your physics problem sets by any means, but I think it makes somebody a lot more confident when going about coding. So if you want like a rigorous CS experience, maybe take 61A. And then lastly, like I think the last thing to say would be like, if you want, you can help teach the decal. We're all going to graduate eventually. I mean, Isla, Emily, Raph, myself, and Elon are all juniors going to be seniors next year. So if you would like to possibly take over the mantle of teaching the Python decal, you can always come talk to me or any of us instructors, and we can help integrate you into the course, and then eventually you can teach it or lead it yourself. So yeah, that's kind of everything you could do. What's next? And now that's like really all I had to say. It's just class photo time and then course evaluations. So if you could please go ahead and turn on your camera. You don't have to if you don't want to be in the photo, but if you want to be in the photo, please turn on your camera. I'll give everybody like a minute to turn on their camera, and then we will take a nice little class photo. Yeah, sweet. I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to, what else am I going to do? I'm going to pause recording. That really. Just want to mention for the people watching asynchronously, all I have left is just course evaluations. So the link is right here on the screen. Go ahead and type that in and then go fill out the course evaluations. We don't get to do a normal course evaluations through the university, so please fill it out. Whatever you say is greatly impactful on the way we teach next semester and the semester after. So please do it. We greatly appreciate those, or for those watching asynchronously. Okay, that's all I have for today. We'll just be here as like kind of extra office hours for anybody who needs help. So I'm going to stop recording.